Why, hello there YouTube and welcome to a ranking video. I'm Renan Ross and I thought, now that I've seen all 7 Scream movies, why not rank them all from best to worst or least favourite to most favourites? So it's all my personal opinion. If you have your own, then please feel free to share. So here we go. So coming in at number 7, it is Scream 6. This wasn't a bad one. Wasn't a bad one at all. I like that they took it to New York. I like that we got a lot of Easter eggs and references in there. But I just felt, Sidney Prescott's absence. Of course, Nev Campbell didn't return due to a pay dispute. But still, it was a fun one and stuff, and proved that the franchise still has some stuff going for it. And, good reveal on the Ghostface killers that it's not just one nor two. Okay, let's get to the next one. So coming in at number 6 is Scream 3. This one was a good conclusion to the original trilogy, how it all came spiraling back. The only one to have one Ghostface killer, that was Roman. And, Wes Craven directed it well and stuff. It was just missing the touch of Kevin Williamson, that he didn't return to write this, this one. But still, fun Hollywood Easter eggs. They also took it to Hollywood as well, didn't they? Okay, number 5, it is Scream 4. The 4th movie, after 11 years off screens, and for a while was a trilogy, we return to Woodsboro and we sort of catch up on the original 3, Sidney, Gale and Dewey. And we get some new characters in there like Kirby, who does make a return after we thought she bit the dust in Scream 4, came back in Scream 6. We get new rules set up, we get new killers, we get the meta franchise Stab referenced in there a lot. Fun cameos. Was also the last one to be directed by the legendary Wes Craven, because after this we know what happened next, don't we? When he passed on. But still, it was a fun revisit to the series, but it was okay. Had Kevin Williamson back to write. So at number 4, we have Scream, the 5th film. Yeah, Scream. I liked again that they returned to it, doing the whole requel craze thing of the last, 8 years now, since Halloween. They didn't number this one, they simply called it Scream as a reference to whole requel things they do. But yeah, we got new legacy characters introduced, like the Carpenter sisters and the Meeks twins. We got the return of our original 3, but of course this time Dewey wasn't so lucky and bit the dust. So yeah, but still fun to see him in a little cameo in another one we've yet to uncover. But good handling of that. We had a few familiar faces in there. The usual Ghostface tropes in the finale taking place in what was the house from the original movie. Fun finale, and to me, I felt this was a return to form for the franchise. I also feel that, this one, it was for Wes Craven. They even say in the film for Wes, with one of the characters called Wes. And it was the first one to not be directed by Craven, and made you think, can this franchise work without his direction? It did. It showed that, there's still life in it. So at number 3, we have the most recent installment, Scream 7. Yeah, say what you want, I enjoyed this one. Yeah, there were a few kinks and, stuff in there with it, which is why it's not on the very top, but it's in the top 3 at least. I like that we got the return of Sidney, Nev Campbell coming back. Of course, they had to rewrite it because of Jenna Ortega and What's-Her-Face dropping out. We got the return of Gale, so 2 original characters from the from the other Scream movies. And we got the Meeks twins return. We got to meet Sidney's daughter, Tatum, named after Sidney's friend Tatum from the first movie, and, her now be the same age as Sydney when it all kicked off, and the whole legacy thing sort of going on. But you know, we get some fun cameos in there, especially from like Matthew Lillard, David Arquette, and a few other previous Ghostface killers. And yeah, I gotta admit, because I've just watched this only once so far, the reveals of the ghost faces did get me a little off guard, but I'll have to watch it again to analyze clues and stuff that I may have missed on first viewing. But yeah, I like this one. Great way to mark 30 years of the franchise, even though it came out in December of '96. But still, the franchise is entering its third decade. So we're not quite in Woodsboro, but we have an opening act that takes place in the house where Woodsboro is. And they've turned it into an exhibit now, an Airbnb. Okay, so, bottom two, what are they? Number 2, Scream 2. Yes, Scream 2, the first sequel, the only one to not feature a phone call in the opening. We get, again, 2 more Ghostface killer reveals. A shock kill from Randy, who doesn't make it this time, and he was a fun character played by Jamie Kennedy. Made a fun cameo in Scream 3, though, on a tape. It references the sequel tropes and that and stuff from a film, given that Sydney has survived the events of the previous Scream movie and that with Dewey and Gale. And, just how a sequel should be done. Again, Craven's direction, Williams' writing, spot on. And number 1, is it obvious? Yeah, it is the first Scream movie, Scream 1. Yeah, I love this one. If you know me as a horror fan, you know what I always say about this one. I'm not going to keep bringing it up every time, but this was my first real taste into the proper horror genre. Before Scream, it was always Scooby-Doo, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Addams Family, Goosebumps and all that. But Scream, my first real dive into real horrors and slashers. And, I was told that this is too scary for me, because I watched this film a lot younger than I should have done. I was about probably 12, 11 when I watched it, but I didn't care. I watched it and I was like, oh, this isn't scary. This isn't bad at all. I actually had fun with it, and it just forever defined me as a horror fan, and I've not stopped since, And as I said, it will always hold a special place in my heart, for that reason. And, the way they marketed it with Drew Barrymore, thinking she's going to be the main character, only to be killed in the opening act. The fact that they used 2 killers, changing up the whole slasher genre, referencing slasher genres and, poking fun yet respecting it at the same time. This one also redefined the slasher genre after it had been worn down in the previous decade, the 80s. Craven gave it a new reason to come up again, and we did. So yeah, that is my ranking for the Scream movies. So how would you rank them? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, share with your friends, and feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. All of my social media links are linked down below in the description, so you can check all that out. And as I keep saying, I said I have a ghost face tattoo. So you know what, I probably will show it you. So yeah, stick around. So yeah, until next time, don't have nightmares. There it is, right there, my ghost face tattoo. Had it done a few years ago, like after the release of Scream 6. There you go, on my thigh right there. Ghostface tattoo. I have Leatherface there too, and Billy from Saw. Even have Michael Myers a couple bits down, but yeah, my Ghostface tattoo. Like it? Yeah. Alright then, see ya.